Hello, third grade. Today we're in our Monday reading, so you need your small reading book, and then we're on page 146. 146, our essential question at the top says, how can people help animals survive? So here you see a picture of a manatee. Now on the other side, right, I'm on page 146 right here. On the other side here you can see saving animals. These manatees look healthy and happy, but sometimes they need help. We can help threatened animals like manatees survive. We can protect their habitats. Remember, that means where animals live. We can keep their habitats clean. How do you think you would keep an animal's habitat clean? Well, by not putting things that shouldn't be there, like trash or garbage or things like that. We can join special groups that help animals. Today we're going to learn about one of those special groups in our reading for today. If you turn the page to page 148, you'll see some of our vocab. Now, our vocab worksheet, like always, has our vocab words on the back, and it says use each word in a sentence or draw a picture to represent the word. So when we go over the word caretakers, you can go ahead and pause the video and do your picture or sentence now, or you could do that later. It's up to you. First word, caretakers. The caretakers at the zoo feed the penguins every day. What would caretakers for a horse do? How do you think you take care of a horse? Well, my brother's wife has horses, and she has to go out there all the time and do what? Feed them. Okay, she's got to feed them. She's got to brush their long manes. All right? So you could draw a picture of somebody taking care of an animal, or you could write a sentence using the word caretakers. Next word is population. There is a large population of flamingos living in the pond. What's another animal population that might live in a pond? Well, if you've been to a pond before, maybe you've seen ducks in a pond, right? Ducks often live in a pond. Or you could think about fish. You can think about a population of fish that live in a pond. Now, this week in science, we're going to talk about an animal population as well. That means all things of one type of animal. So this is a population of flamingos, because we're just talking about flamingos. Next word, recognized. Nola recognized herself in the mirror. What's another word for recognize? If you recognize someone, what does that mean? Well, it means you can say, oh, that's Mrs. Mackey. I see her every day. I know that that's Mrs. Mackey. I recognize her. Okay? So do a picture or a sentence for that one. Next word, relatives. We invited friends and relatives to our picnic. Okay, so relatives, what's another word for relatives? Well, family, your parents, your siblings, aunts, uncles, grandmas, grandpas, all those are your relatives. How would you spend time with your relatives? Well, if you're anything like me, one of my favorite things to do with my relatives is to eat food together, right? If we think about holidays like Easter or Christmas, Thanksgiving, we eat food together. That's what we do as relatives. Next word, resources. Plants need resources such as sunlight and fresh air to grow. So what resources do people need? What do you need? You need food, you need water, you need shelter, a place to stay. Success. Jill's performance was a success. What is a success that you've had? We just finished up our first quarter, so maybe your success was getting on honor roll for the first quarter, right? That would be a huge success. Next, survive. Animals need water to survive. What are some other things animals need to survive? Well, they can't just have water, they also need food, right? So they need food, they need space, right? Just like you need space to live, animals need space to live as well. Last word, threatened. The wildfire threatened the trees. Describe a time when a storm threatened your plans. Think about when I used to play soccer when I was like in 3rd or 4th grade, right? The storm would threaten our plans to play soccer because we couldn't play in the rain and the lightning, okay? Now, if you turn the page, you'll see our story for today. Our story for today is called Kids to the Rescue. Here are Olivia and Carter Reese. They're founders of one more generation. As we read, let's think about our essential question. How can people help animals survive? Read how 2 children helped sea turtles survive an oil spill. Before we begin, let's look at our worksheet for Monday. Make sure you've got your name at the top. Then, number 1 says, how can people help animals survive? How can people help animals survive? What do they do? Well, I'm going to make a Venn diagram, or like a web diagram here. So people help animals. What do they do to help animals? Well, they keep their habitats clean, right? We learned about that in the first page. What else? Can they take care of them when they're sick? Well, sure, that's why we have vets. What about if there's oil or water or trash in their habitat that you could pick up? Trash in their habitat. And then try to think of one more way. What's one more way that they could help animals survive? Go ahead, pause the video, write your thoughts down right here. Now that you're done with this at the top, let's go on to number 2. This week we're thinking about sequencing. That means putting things in order that they happen. So first, second, third, fourth, and so on. So today we're going to describe the steps that Olivia and Carter took to help the Kemp's Ridley sea turtles. Okay, so what steps did they take? We're on page 151 of our book, right here. What a mess. There was dark, gooey oil everywhere. It slid across the water. It coated rocks and sand. It made swimming hard for sharks and dolphins. The oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico was making animals sick and helpless. 2 kids from a small town in Georgia watched the news. They saw pictures of sea turtles coated with oil. They watched animals struggle to move. As a result, they decided it was time to do something. The animals in the Gulf needed 2 superheroes to help them. Go ahead, turn your page. Olivia and Carter to the rescue. This is on page 152. Meet Olivia and Carter Reese. They started a group that works to save animals. Olivia was 7 years old, and Carter, her brother, was 8.5. They named their group One More Generation. They want animals to be around for kids in the future. Olivia and Carter believe everyone can make a difference. They are sending an important message. Their message is that everyone can help animals. Olivia and Carter watched oil spread for miles across the Gulf. More and more animals were getting sick. The Kemp's Ridley turtle was one of them. There are only a few thousand left in the world. They are endangered, and their population is getting smaller and smaller. The oil threatened to ruin their homes and their habitat. At the bottom you can see the picture of Olivia and Carter learning how oil harms the turtles, right? So they were meeting with an adult here, and she was showing them how that oil hurts them. Here at the top, we've got another picture with a caption that can tell us about it. It says, "This female turtle is clean and healthy. It is being returned to the Gulf." You can see it in this kind of carrier with some blankets so that it's let go back into the wild. Oil spoils everything. Olivia and Carter learned that the female turtles were swimming across the Gulf of Mexico. They were going to lay eggs on the beaches there, but the thick oil destroyed the resources the turtles need to live. The harmful oil covered the sand. It made it hard for them to swim. Sea turtles survive by eating seaweed, jellyfish, and other sea animals. The oil spill spoiled their food too. Without food, the turtles die. What do you think Olivia and Carter are going to do about it? Let's see. Saving the sea turtles. Olivia and Carter recognized how big the problem was. The turtles needed help. First, they made a thoughtful plan. Then, they called a rescue group in New Orleans. They found out that the workers needed useful cleaning supplies and wipes. Next, the kids asked friends, relatives, and people in their towns to help. They told them how the donations would help remove oil from the turtles. Okay, so what did they do? First, they made a plan. Then, they called the rescue group in New Orleans. So let's start there. Describe the steps. 1. They made a plan. 2. They called the rescue group. 3, they got donations for those supplies that they needed. All right? Go ahead and pause it there if you still need to write that down. Next, I'm in the middle of page 154. Olivia and Carter collected supplies for 4 months. They rode with their parents to New Orleans. They carried the supplies with them. Then the kids watched caretakers clean hundreds of sea turtles. With the help of many people, the turtles were soon spotless. Olivia and Carter's plan worked. It was a huge success. All right, so they collected supplies. Then they took supplies to New Orleans. Okay? Keeping busy. Olivia and Carter work with many other groups to help animals all over the world. They give talks at museums and schools. They ask community leaders to support laws that help animals. They help rescue animals in danger. Olivia and Carter are truly superheroes to endangered animals. With their help, many animals will survive for one more generation. Now, look here. We've got 2 text features on this page. One, we've got this map here, and this map shows you how they got from where they were in Fayetteville down to New Orleans. Okay? Then on the other page, we've got a text feature with another picture. Carter and his mom unpack supplies in New Orleans. You can see here it gives us ways that we can help animals. Protect animal nests. Pick up trash at parks and wild places. Keep water clean and stop using plastic bags. Okay? So use one of those. Which one of those do you think you could do with your friends? What can you and your friends do to help animals? Write your answer here. When you're done with your answer, please make sure that your vocab on the back is done. Okay, and when you've got both of those things done, put it in your Monday folder and check it off of your weekly checklist.